This is heat load calculation, part 14C. This is dealing with the base case latent gain. So we'll be looking at this chart right here on table 7. This will be line 3 on your worksheet. So let's just take a look at how you do the solution for this right here. This one is the same as the other two tables that's right here. Basically, we're going to find the percentage in between these two, which will be the same percentage between these two, and then the percentage in between these two. So let's take a look at this. This is a base case latent gain solution, part 1, finding the percentages of the chart. So the first thing we're going to start with is going to be this part right here. Design grains, and as you can see, ours is 39 for Birmingham, Alabama. That's going to be between the 30 and the 40. So between the 30 and 40 design grains is 50% relative humidity. Design grains is 39. So if you subtract 30 from 40, you get 10. So the difference between it's the difference of 10 between 30 and 40. So if design grains is 39, saying 39 between 30 and 40 design grains is the same as saying 9 between 0 and 10. So in other words, 10 is our 100%, 0 is 0%, and we're at 9. So how do you find what percentage 9 is of 10? This is the mathematical solution to solve this. Like I said, basically you're going to do the same as you've always done. We're going to set up a proportion, and like I said, you got basically 100% over X percent equals 10 over 9. And then just do the math, and it ends up with X equals 90%. So basically, this design grains 39 is 90% of the way in between these two. So we're going to find what's 90% in between these two and 90% in between these two next. So the first one's going to be the 1,000 column, this one right here. So we got 150 and 89. We've got to find what's 90% in between both those numbers. Important fact to know on this table, like I said, the numbers are going up, so it's going from 50 to 89. We're on the heat loss factor, it was actually going down. So what is 90% between 150 and 89? Like I said, 39, basically you just subtract 150 from 89, you get 39. 39% equals 100. And we're going to set up our same kind of solution for this. So a solution for what is 90% of 39. 39 over X equals 100 over 90. And then basically solve the equation. Once we get to the bottom, it's 35.1. So 90% of 39 is 35.1. Now you take that 35.1, you add it to the original 50 right there, and we end up with 185.10. So our number for this column, the number that's 90% in between both of these numbers, is 185.1. Now we're going to do the 1500 block here, because our number for square footage of our home is actually 1,200 square foot. So we're going to wind up in between those, so we got to get these two numbers first. So we got to find what's 90% between these two numbers. 90% between those two numbers right there. I'm going to move it over here so you can see. Like I said, what's 90% between 246 and 309? Basically, subtract 246 from 309, that gives you 63. And then we just have to figure out what 90% of 63 is. So our equation we'll set up will be 63 over X equals 100 over 90. And then simply do the math, solve the equation. X equals 56.7. So 90% of 63 is 56.7. Then all we have to do is simply add 56.7 back to the 246 here, because we're 90% of the way here. So we add that to it, and we end up with 302.7. Now all we have to do is figure out the relationship between the number we found here and the number we found here, and what percentage 1,200 is between 1,000 and 1,500. This is the last step. Basically, same process. So basically, we got 185.1, which was for this column, and we had 302.7, which is for this column. So we need to figure out what 1200 is in relation to 1000 and 1500, what percentage it actually is. So doing the math, figuring and solving it all out, like I said, you'll figure out, like I said, this is actually 40%, just as it has been for the other tables. So 40%. So the two numbers we've gotten, the 302 and 185 and everything like that, we need to figure out what 40% in between both those numbers are. First thing we got to do is get our 100%. So we're going to subtract 185.10 from 302.7, and we end up with 117.60. And all we have to do now is figure out what 40% of that is. So we're going to set up our equation again, our proportion, and it'll be 117.6 over x equals 100 over 40. Do the math, solve it down, finally come to x. X equals 47.04. So 40% of 117.6 is 47.04. Now that we know that, all we have to do is simply add it back to our original starting number, which was 185.1, and then we end up with 232.14. So for our base case latent gain, this number right here, our final number is 232.14. Now all we have to do is simply transfer this number to our worksheet G. Now this will be line 3. Our number is 232.14. Since the base gain on both of these is identical, just as it was for the heat loss factor, all your base cases can transfer over. So we can just copy and paste that same number right there. And that finishes up our base case. In the next video, we'll start on step 2, which is the R value correction, or the whiff, which is basically just a few simple charts and then multiply. Thank you.